Hey Eurovision fam, it's Alesia Michelle, and I am so excited today because I am joined by Portugal's Suzy. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today.
Oh my God, it's a pleasure. Why shouldn't I wanted to speak with you, with Alicia? You're already famous in the Eurovision world. Fan
I'm
world.
still working. I'm working hard. But
Yeah, fan world. Yeah.
yeah, I've been having such good conversations with folks, and I feel like at Eurovision, we're at sort of another pivotal moment where the contest is beginning to change again. And And I mean, of course, we had like the cancellation of Eurovision 2020, and that was sad. But I do feel like we're now getting into a groove again. We're
Mhm.
picking back the speed up a little bit. And I just have to ask, so what have you been up to?
Oh my God. I don't know if our listeners know that I was the Portuguese representative in 2014 with a song Quero Ser Tua. And I'm blessed and I feel continuously blessed by being able to do what I love the most, which is singing. And Eurovision also gives me another window of opportunity to do that and take it to another level. For example, 2023, I did some Eurovision events. Every year, I do a lot of Eurovision events, which I love. And before 2014, I didn't know about this community, this family. I call it the Eurovision family because for me, they are family for sure. Um, you see familiar faces every time that you go to an event, and it becomes like a family. And I think because of that, embraces the real meaning of Eurovision, where it was trying to showcase the different cultures musically, obviously, and their traditions, their language. It's kind of it's unifying. It unites people with different backgrounds, different culture, countries, language, tradition, everything in a nice way. So I did a lot of Eurovision events, and until everyone still wants me to be there, I will be there. Hopefully, they don't get tired of me. And I did also corporate and private events. I do a lot of corporate and private events. Also, I promoted my single that it's called Higher. It's sang in English. It's on all digital platforms. And I also, because of Eurovision events, I created and produced a show called Portugal na Eurovisão. So it's Portugal in Eurovision. Uh, since the beginning of our first participation in 1964, I don't want to mislead anyone, around that time, 60s, until the 1994, everyone stopped in Portugal to watch Eurovision. Everyone. We did our own votings. It was like an event. All the family get together at dinner time, and we would see the competition. So when I start being invited to go to the Eurovision events, I saw some of the artists from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and I'm like, why not do that and honor them for their participation in Eurovision? They are still singing. They are amazing. They are still amazing performers. So why not invite the original ones and put together a show and honor those artists, and also some that are not in between us anymore. And so, yeah, I did that. I've been doing that show also. And and other things that are not music related. But I don't stop. I don't stop. No.
Well, we don't want you to stop, and we are going to keep having you around because there is something about that song that still has stuck with folks. And I remember watching, and I remember seeing the show, and then at
Mhm.
the end of it being like, wait, this song didn't advance. I was so confused. I was
Mhm.
like, wait, hold on. But we
I
know that
know.
Eurovision, it's wonderful. It's a celebration. It is a competition, but I would say the competition is sort of like the byline of it because really just being able to be on this international stage, I mean,
Exactly.
that's the win anyway. This is your introduction
Yeah.
truly
Uh,
to the
yeah.
world. And
Yeah.
I mean, how do you feel? Because I mean, Eurovision now, it's just gotten bigger. It's gotten bigger. How do you kind of feel about, I would say, the globalization of Eurovision? Because
Mhm.
I don't know if you know, we don't have it anymore, but we had the American Song Contest
I
in
know.
2022. They
Yes.
say there's going to be a Canadian version. Also, there's going to be a Latin American version.
Yeah.
Like Eurovision's just bigger now.
Yeah. It's bigger, but the the essentia, the essence, it's still European. I know that we have Australia participating every year, but the essence, absolutely, it's in Europe because it's a continent, and you travel from to several countries in 2-3 hours, and I hope we don't lose our identity. I think it's amazing for Canada wanting to participate, for the States wanting to participate, for Latin America wanting to participate, but they should do like we do in each country. They should do their, for example, American Song Contest, and the winner would go to Europe and sing there, not called Eurovision. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, I think that that's happening, but I would even say, it's just the scale of Eurovision. We had Måneskin winning, and
Yeah,
now they're global superstars.
yeah,
We
yeah,
even look at Loreen, who, us in the Eurovision bubble,
yeah,
we've known about her for
yeah.
years, but, Tattoo is, charting all across Europe. It does feel like the scale of the competition and potentially the reach, I would
The
say,
thing
is
is,
bigger.
the thing for me is what the what the label that it's behind the artist, or what the artist will do with their participation in Eurovision. As you know, not every Eurovision singer is a worldwide superstar or win Grammys or whatever, right? Or MTV Awards or Emmy Awards, right? So basically, it's what you do with it. I can say from my own experience, and it's going to be 10 years next year, is uh, Eurovision allows you to showcase your skills, your music, okay? And for you to be able to increase your connections in the music industry if you want to, okay? If you work it well, right? uh, because you have songs that were not winners and they're on the charts in Europe. You can listen on the, and it wasn't Eurovision. It was, for example, in a Blue Moon, a TikTok thing. So this is what I'm talking. It's, for example, I launched my single, but I'm an independent artist, and and I put it out there, and for the Eurovision family and blah blah. And it didn't go to another level, because they want to listen Eurovision songs. Okay, so the Eurovision Song Contest is a platform. It's to showcase your skills, singing skills or music skills, producing, whatever. Okay. And throughout that time, throughout those 2 weeks, then establish a lot of contacts. And like a Slovenian group this year did, took the advantage to go to Liverpool or to the pre-party in London and schedule interviews in BBC with producers. You know what I mean? It's just to showcase. Then
No,
the work, it needs to be yours. The work
yeah.
needs to be yours.
No,
You
you're
know?
right. It really is what you make it. And I kind of even want to hone in a little bit because, we know Festival Doc has, changed. And then, of course, once they sort
A
of
lot. Yeah.
rejiggered and everything and refigured out their formula, now we've seen Portugal having, I'd say, really a nice, like, sort of a
Yeah.
pathway at Eurovision and some nice momentum. Do you feel sort of in Portugal that maybe the opinion of Eurovision has changed a little bit because of this recent success? Are people feeling like a win could come
Yeah.
again soon? What do you think?
The thing is, we needed some good news. We needed a change. And the change came from the entity itself. It came from RTP, our national channel, TV channel. We needed a new team, new ideas, someone that actually knows Eurovision, is already an Eurovision fan. And then we cannot forget about the 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 increase, the how do you say in English? It decreased substantially the social media because in the 90s we didn't have it in the beginning of 2000s either, so that didn't help. Now everything, it's more on your face, if you know what I mean. So at the moment that there was a change in the team and we won, people got more hopeful. We listen, 21 years, okay, we were forgotten, basically. From 1995 until 2016, the rates of the audiences in from Festival da Canção, the Portuguese Song Contest, were really low. The only people that actually saw Festival da Canção were more our colleagues, people from the music industry, very small group, okay? So the rates were really low. So and what we were taking, some of the songs were really good, but others maybe not the best options. And yeah, and then in 2017 a miracle appeared and we won. And now again people start watching a little bit more. Okay, the ratings are way better. That's why I'm saying we needed a new team. We needed a boost of energy. Now artists are very known. Number one top charts are in the competition. Every year they invite, because in Portugal, the majority, we do everything on the opposite. So in Portugal, the song contest, they first invite the composer. Okay, because it's a song contest. It's not a singer contest. People forget about it. It's called song contest. In the beginning, every TV, they should invite the composer first, okay, of the song. Then the composer would choose, it was exactly like my year, would choose the singer to represent their song. It's how things work in Portugal and in the majority of the countries in the Eurovision Song Contest. That's why now it appears the composer and the singer side by side, and there is 2 trophies. But in my year, it was only 1. Anyway, and now they invite very well known and successful artists and composers, and also people that are not known, like Mimi Cat this year. Okay. And that's the beauty of it. I think they should do that more. They should do half, you know, but they do the majority. They are the ones who invite. And then there is the free, how do you say?
Yeah, they have an open submission as well, where
Thank
there
you.
is two. Yeah, there's a couple of slots for
Yeah, open
open submission.
submission. Yeah, but the majority they invite. But yeah, let's see what's coming out of that. For example, a lot of years, the winners of Eurovision, of Festival de Canção, nothing happened for them after that, even with albums and, you know, all done and ready to go. And because people already have their careers before the Festival de Canção. In the 60s and 70s and 80s, it would be in Portugal, if you went Festival de Canção, you were famous. Okay, you had work, you were recording albums and etc. In our days, it's not as much.
I mean, there's been this democratization, I think, of music creation. So, I mean, honestly, there's just more content creators. There's more people because of the internet, because of social media.
Yeah.
There is, I think, a little bit of the saturation in the market. So it can be harder for an artist to break through nowadays than if we're comparing.
Because what can you do that it's outstanding or new, or come up with a new formula? You know, that now everyone can, you know, record an album at home. Everyone can compose, write songs, launch songs, you know, independently through all sorts of digital platforms. So people are there is a lot of choice.
I think Portugal is a great country for other countries that maybe are faltering at Eurovision, kind of trying to figure out, you know, what they need to do. Ireland, and that, you know, maybe they should look at kind of what Portugal has done to sort of turn the page a little bit and get a little bit of that momentum back going. But what we're kind of talking about, you know, anyone can kind of make music, and so now that makes, I think, in an exciting way, the Eurovision Song Contest that much more competitive a little bit. And so now we've made it even, I think, trickier perhaps for some artists at Eurovision, because there are no more juries in the semifinals. And I think we haven't gotten the official word this year whether they will bring the juries back. I'm thinking they won't. So as someone who participated at Eurovision, are you kind of like, hey, no, we maybe need a little bit of jury in the semifinal? Or are you kind of like, oh, no, maybe we're on to something. Let's see how it goes for a couple of more years. What do you think?
To be honest, because I didn't go to the final because of 1 point and because of the jury, I don't want juries.
Well, but you know, it's a balance, because I mean, I think there are times that I've looked at the numbers where I'm just like, oh, well, thank God the jury was there. And then there are other times that I'm like, jury, what were you thinking? You know what? And it's different every year. So
you know what? There is no perfect formula. Let's be honest, because you cannot. We have an expression. I think in English you have it too. You cannot please Greeks and Trojans. You can't. We say that in Portugal. Não podemos agradar a gregos e a troianos. We can't. So, especially nowadays that everyone hides behind the social media and think that they can say everything that they want. The honest truth is there is no formula. There is no formula. Obviously, if it comes down to the votes of the public, televoting, and if they launch honest numbers and things like that, it's very valid, because then you have the sense of what the public really likes. When it comes down to the jury, you cannot control, because there is a lot of underlying interests and politics, because there exists politics. Yeah, well, there shouldn't exist politics. Well, welcome to the world. We have even politics at the corner. You have politics everywhere. So in my semifinal, I was on fifth or sixth or whatever. I was on the top chart, and because of the jury, for example, I didn't go to the final. And on my semi-final, I had 3 countries that didn't have televoting. So that was huge for me, because I knew if I went to the final, it would only be through televoting, because it's a song for the public to dance, and it's it's not very structured. May I say, it's a happy song, a tempo song, and it is what it is. But if we should maintain or not, I think we should maintain, some more years, and then go back to having the jury and play a little bit back and forth, because there is no there is no absolute truths. You will not please everyone. There is
Yeah.
always complaints. Imagine next year, this year, 2024, you will have in the semifinals again, jury and televoting. Oh no. Some of them, oh no, it should be. And others, no, good. You will never please anyone. This is so complicated. So
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. I mean, there is no, and I think you really hit the nail on the head when you said there is no perfect formula, because music is subjective, taste is subjective. And so I
exactly.
think the closest way we can get to it probably is the televote, probably is the most, I'd say, diverse set of folks that you can have.
Yes.
And is that not what the televote is to a certain degree?
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, so
No,
I think it's interesting, and looking back, and I also kind of want to ask, because if we look
mhm.
at Eurovision 2014, and even just compare it to 2023, and I'm sure there will be some new inventions, some new bits of technology that will
Absolutely.
be introduced
Yes.
on the stage. Is there something that you like watching Eurovision recently that you wish you might have had on the stage during your performance?
With the song that I had in my hands to represent, I think that that the work was very well done. And the team, the audio team, the visual team, they were amazing. They were in Copenhagen. They were amazing. I wouldn't take nothing. I wouldn't change nothing. I would had avoid to take antihistaminics seconds before I entered the stage, because people don't know those things. I don't, people, I don't say, right, because I think we shouldn't at that time. I can say now, but at that time, everything happened to me. I think the performance, it was what it was. It was according to the genre of song music. The dress became iconic. So was a top designer in a Portuguese top designer. So everything for me was accordingly perfect for that song.
Yeah, no regrets. No, I think that it feels good to be able to look back and kind of say, like, and look back fondly at the experience. And another change I want to talk about is, at Eurovision, now they allow pre-recorded backing vocals. And back when you did this, all the vocals had to be
Yes,
live. What do you think of the change? Do you feel like this is, we're moving forward, this is more modern, it's in the industry? Or I will say I'm a little bit of a purist, where I'm like, oh, that's
me
just like the
too.
one thing I kind of am like, no, like that's it, it sort of levels, I think levels the playing field a little bit.
Yes,
But yeah, what do you
yes.
think?
backing vocals on stage live. For me, live music all the time. When I go to the Portuguese TV shows, I'm one of the few that sings live. And I know that their sound system is not the best for people at home to hear. One thing it's in the studio, and one thing but I prefer, even though I prefer always live, always live. And if I could, orchestra, back to the orchestra.
I would, it's funny.
Yeah,
I thought when we were going back to Italy in 2022, I was almost thinking that they were going to dust off the orchestra and say, come on, live musicians
yeah.
in the front. It didn't happen, but I do think, I think that that's something that I wouldn't be surprised. And if it ever came back at Eurovision, I wouldn't be surprised.
I would love that. Well, not for my colleagues, not for me, but I think, I don't know. Can you believe singing for 12, 13 million people in the arena, plus 158 to 160 million viewers at home, an orchestra? Well, they really need to be good sound engineers, by the way.
The sound has to be on point. It really does.
Yes.
It really
So I
does.
would put orchestra, okay, or a mix. Orchestra with some of the songs really need electronic, because that's the beauty of Eurovision Song Contest. You have rock, you have pop, you have ballads, you have indie music, you have maybe you have electronic dancing music, you have mixtures. Oh my God, that's the beauty. I told this to BBC in 2014. You know what? I don't have any problems of singing Portuguese, because music, it's all about feelings. What makes you feel when you hear a certain song? The melody sticks to my head instantly. The lyrics, okay, sure. I have to study them. Forget it. And there are people that listen to the lyrics, to the meaning, to everything, and then they try to memorize the melody. So as you can see, we are so different, even in personality, the way we feel, the way we see music, the way we perceive each artist, right? That's the beauty also of Eurovision. So that's why we should maintain, if they want to, their native language, right? If they want to. If they sing in English, they sing in English. That's fine. All good. It's because it's all about what makes you, that song makes you feel. Nobody understands my lyrics, and everyone starts dancing into the conga, whatever, on the clubs and things like that. So.
Well, as always, I love talking with you, and I'm so glad we were able to catch up, because Eurovision, it's changing, it's growing, it's evolving. But you're right. The root, the essence of Eurovision remains the same. And that's why I think it's going to continue to get bigger and bigger, and more people are going to have interest in it. So thank you for speaking with me today.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure. It's always a pleasure. And continue to follow Alesia and her updates on the Eurovision news. And continue to support Eurovision artists that you actually follow. And because they are just trying to live from what they love to do the most.